Thanks for coming.
Thank you, man with the tan from Florida.
Try my best.
You don't have to recognize him as the man from Florida. We can all see where he hails from.
Yeah, no, well, I appreciate that. It's hot there. We don't have the temperate climate that you guys have in LA, so it's 95 and heating right now.
Well, it's dry, but there are a lot of blowhards there in LA, so there's a lot of hot wind blowing around.
So what do you, I mean, you've kind of come here, we appreciate it. You know, you look at this experience, how do you view kind of what goes on in Washington as potentially being able to help stand up for free speech? Because, you know, we get involved in things, a lot of times we make it worse.
You know, I hosted a show called Loveline for over a decade, and I had a very unique perspective because I was able to talk to troubled kids, teenagers, 2 hours a night for a decade. And I really got to learn something about young people and how they work and what works and what doesn't work. And, you know, people say, well, you're not a professor, you never read a book, you never went to college. How are you an expert on this? And I say, well, I'm a journeyman carpenter as well. I've never read a book on carpentry. And who would you like to build your house? Someone who read a book on it or someone who just did it every day for over a decade? And I learned that all of these problems that we're talking about, free speech, discrimination, hatred toward other people, and drug addiction, violence, crime, it all stems from the family. And when the family is intact, much of this stuff just goes away. You don't have to legislate it away. It just goes away because people are brought up in intact families with decent, caring parents, whatever their color, whatever their background is, and then they produce little decent individuals who go off to college or a job, place of work, and they don't need to be coached up, and they don't need to be legislated, and they don't need to be bloviated by people like us. They grew up in an intact family. So my feeling is all the stuff we're talking about is at the outside of the rim. The hub is the family, and the discussions should center around the family and who is creating these people who think it'd be a good idea to take a baseball bat to the window of a Starbucks in their community.
Well, I think that's well put, and if we could deal with that core, the free speech stuff, and a whole host of other problems would go, and that's better than any tax bill or anything else we could be doing, and obviously it's not going to be government's role per se, it's a societal thing.
To Mr. Carolla's point, right, it's a lot more about what kind of background and belief system they bring to the university.
I agree wholeheartedly. That starts at home. Anyone who's been in the corporate world knows you have to have sexual harassment training as well, and the cases of sexual harassment have probably gone up tenfold since the training began. So I don't see any direct line from training to effective application of it.
In fact, it could be almost the converse, right?
I feel it is,
yeah.
Yes.
So final question is to the heckler in the middle. When's the movie coming out again?
No Safe Spaces. Dennis Prager and myself have gotten together to do this subject, but the 86-minute version of it, not the 477-minute version. Yes, my bladder's very angry at you. Yeah, I think it's coming out mid-early 2018, so look forward to that.
Well, we look forward to it as well. I want to thank each of you